The interesting thing, though, about yesterday, I mean, it was really the perils of sport a little bit. You know, what a moment, what a sad moment it was for the Bulgarian Grigor Dimitrov yesterday, being 2-0 up against the world number one Jannik Sinner on centre court yesterday. And he was playing so well, Dimitrov, at the age of 34. He had done so much to get himself fit for these championships. He had to retire from the previous 4 Grand Slams because of various injuries. In the French Open just under a month ago, it was due to a thigh injury on that occasion. But when he was serving in the 3rd set, as I mentioned already, 2-0 up, when he was serving in the 4th game of that 3rd set, it's quite clear, seemingly picked up a pectoral injury because he then fell to the ground ahead of the next game. Jannik Sinner came around and really showed some great sportsmanship looking after his good friend Dimitrov on court. And it was apparent Dimitrov, especially after he went off the court for a few minutes and came back, he was in tears, his face red, and he said he wouldn't be able to continue. So we hope he has a speedy recovery. He wasn't able to do any of his media commitments after the match because of advice from the medical team as well. So as I mentioned, we hope he can show and come back some of the great tennis he showed yesterday. I mean, there was a striking image of Roger Federer in the royal box just looking dismayed and so upset because Dimitrov was dubbed baby fed when he first came onto the tennis scene because of his style being so close to the 8-time Wimbledon champion. But all attention now turns to the Italian Jannik Sinner, one of the favourites for the men's draw. But it seems that he might have picked up an injury in that first set himself. He had a bit of a fall in that opening set. He then said afterwards he has a bit of an elbow injury, and that was why his performance maybe wasn't at his best yesterday. And it's something he's going to have to look at when he takes on Ben Shelton in his quarter-final round tomorrow.
The last Brit standing, Dan, of course, is Cameron Norrie, who's kind of hit a purple patch of form, hasn't he? But this is a seriously formidable task ahead of him. The 2-time defending champion, Carlos Alcaraz.
Absolutely, Matt. I mean, I think what maybe Cam Norrie will take from this matchup is he has won 2 of the last 3 matchups against the reigning Wimbledon champion. However, that wasn't the last time they faced each other was 2023 in Rio in Brazil. So maybe not any matchups recently you can take some good form from. But for Cam Norrie, it's been such a revitalization of his form and also just a reminder of how good of a tennis player he is. I mean, it was in 2022 when he reached the semi-finals here at Wimbledon. That year, he reached 8th in the rankings, but since then he really has struggled with form. Last year he was really hampered by injury. A bicep injury really meant that he fell down the rankings near essentially the 100s, but he's done so well in these championships to just enjoy his tennis again. Court number 1 is one of his favorite courts on tour, and that is where he has shown everyone his best tennis. But of course he faces Carlos Alcaraz, 2-time reigning Wimbledon champion, and really in the form of his life. I mean, he's over 20 matches unbeaten on tour, having won the French Open a month ago. He then won Queens, and now in Wimbledon, although he has dropped a set here or there, has looked imperious once again. But what a matchup it will be. Second up on centre court around probably 3:30, 4 or so this afternoon. And although Alcaraz is a fan favourite here at Wimbledon, Norrie will have that home support. It's a very interesting matchup for both, and it's really mouth-watering, isn't it? What a chance for Norrie to try and get to the semi-finals for a second time as well.
They're mouth-watering as well in the women's singles, isn't it? Because there'll be a first-time champion this year. Just looking at the draw, and are things potentially opening up for the world number 1, Aryna Sabalenka?
Honestly, Matt, every year at Wimbledon, the women's singles is such an interesting championships competition because it is so unpredictable on this surface. Rankings often go out the window, and there's been a different winner in the women's singles since 2016. Since Serena Williams defended her title here, there's always been a different winner, and we're going to have a new time champion here for the first time once again. And whether that's Aryna Sabalenka, she's actually first up on centre court against the German Laura Sigman, and I think Sabalenka, of course, will be the favourite with the seeds left. So many have already been knocked out. The American Coco Gauff, American Jessica Pegula, all out already. And when you look at who's left, I mean, Sabalenka, remember, 3-time Grand Slam champion. She's made the finals of the 2 other Grand Slams this year, although having lost both. So you feel like she has extra motivation to put her stamp and get over those disappointments of those finals. But you look on the other side of the draw, there's some fantastic stories as well. Mira Andreeva, just 18 years old, won once again yesterday. She'll have her quarterfinal tomorrow. And you also have the former number 1, Iga Swiatek, who hasn't really enjoyed her time on grass as a surface, but she comes in to these championships lower down the rankings, perhaps less pressure on her, so you never know in the final if Sabalenka can get that far. It is mouth-watering once again, but who knows who could win. As I said, rankings often go out the window, but you would expect Sabalenka to put Sigman to bed later on this afternoon and get through. But how she handles the pressure once again, semi-finals in the final, not having good memories in those moments this year, we'll have to wait and see. But what a day of tennis we have to look forward to, and we'll keep you updated throughout the day.